Well, if you've walked along the lakefront near McKinley Beach recently, you might have seen an abandoned mystery ship that's washed ashore.
Roughly 2 weeks ago, this boat washed ashore and landed itself in between Bradford and McKinley beaches. That's when the mystery began.
7 months later.
Cheers from a crowd of onlookers, many of whom had been there the entire day, as the abandoned boat Deep Thought is finally taken from Milwaukee's lakefront.
Welcome to About Us V2.0, inspired stories for working people. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a really strange situation that started unfolding in Milwaukee back in October 2024.
Yeah, it involves a boat. One named Deep Thought, funnily enough.
Deep Thought, okay. And it just sort of showed up.
Appeared on a sandbar there in Lake Michigan. You know the area, south of Bradford Beach, north of McKinley.
Oh, right near Lincoln Memorial Drive. Okay.
Exactly, near 2272 North Lincoln Memorial Drive. And the weird part, it just sat there.
Just sat there.
For 7 months.
7 months later.
Cheers from a crowd of onlookers, many of whom had been there the entire day, as the abandoned boat Deep Thought is finally taken from Milwaukee's lakefront.
In plain sight, you could easily see it. People were taking pictures from the high ground near the North Point Water Tower.
Wow. 7 months. What kind of boat are we talking about? Not just some little dinghy, I assume.
No. It was identified as a Chris Craft roamer, about maybe 33 feet long, and likely around 40 years old.
A Chris Craft roamer. Okay, even an older one, that's not nothing. New ones cost a fortune, right?
Oh, yeah. Easily 6 figures, sometimes over $1 million for the new model. So even an older one, you'd think it had some value.
You would. But it didn't stay pristine for long, did it?
No. It basically became a canvas. Milwaukee taggers got to it pretty quickly, covered it in graffiti.
So whatever value it might have had, just poof, gone.
Pretty much rendered valueless.
Yeah.
And all of this happening while the authorities, the ones responsible for that area.
Who would that be? The Harbor Patrol.
Yep. The Milwaukee Police Department's Harbor Patrol, also the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office, and the Wisconsin DNR. They all have jurisdiction over those waters.
So multiple agencies potentially involved, and this graffitied boat is just sitting there for 7 months.
Exactly.
Which leads to the $1 million question. What was actually going on? Why leave it? Why the inaction?
No shit, Sherlock.
Well, according to the story from Clinton Gallagher, who created About Us V2.0, it's complicated. The alleged backstory isn't just abandonment.
Oh. What's the theory then?
Smuggling. Interstate cannabis smuggling, specifically.
Smuggling. From where to where?
The idea is from Illinois, where cannabis is, re-legalized, into Milwaukee, where it's still criminalized. Deep Thought was supposedly the transport.
Okay, hold on. So the theory is the police knew about the boat and just left it there.
That's the allegation. They didn't ignore it. They were watching it?
Watching it. Why? Hoping to catch someone?
Potentially. The theory suggests it was like a surveillance setup. Leave the boat, make it look abandoned, see who comes back to it, hoping for a big bust, as they say.
A sting operation, basically. Using the boat as bait.
Sort of, yeah. That's the alleged police strategy.
But, from the outside looking in, people must have just thought the authorities were asleep at the wheel.
Oh, absolutely. For those 7 months, the public perception wasn't clever sting up. It was more like ineptitude.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It even got a nickname, apparently. Milwaukee's SS Minnow.
Oh, like from Gilligan's Island? That's pretty mocking.
It really is. It tells you what people thought, right? That the boat and maybe the police response was just kind of stuck. A bit of a joke.
Definitely doesn't scream highly effective policing.
Not at all.
And it still feels weird. Who just abandons a Chris Craft? Even an old one covered in graffiti, it seems unlikely.
It does raise questions. It's a substantial piece of property.
Yeah.
Why just walk away? And again, 7 months is such a long time for it to just sit.
Usually there are procedures, right, for removing abandoned vessels.
Yeah, there are definitely protocols. The fact that it stayed there so long Well, it certainly fuels the speculation that there was something else going on behind the scene.
And wasn't there something else? Something about someone hanging around the area.
Right, that's another layer. Reports mention someone described as looking homeless, who was apparently seen near the boat pretty consistently.
For the whole 7 months.
For the entire period, yeah. Showed up around the same time the boat did, and just sort of stayed nearby, became part of the background.
Okay, that's interesting. Any theories about that?
Well, connecting the dots with the surveillance theory,
Yeah.
some speculated this person wasn't actually homeless.
What then?
Maybe. Part of the surveillance. Someone tasked with keeping an eye on the boat, managing the situation discreetly.
An undercover officer or informant, maybe? Posing as homeless?
It's definitely out there, but it's a theory that's been floated to explain the constant presence.
Yeah.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does. So what happened in the end? Is the boat still there?
No, it's finally gone. It has been removed. The saga of the SS Minnow of Milwaukee is over, at least visually.
And what about the alleged smugglers? The big bust? Did it happen?
According to Gallagher's telling,
No.
if the smuggling theory is true, whoever was doing it apparently slipped away.
So they just got away with it.
Seems to be the conclusion drawn. Free to smuggle another day, as the story goes.
Wow. What a strange tale. A visible wreck, alleged crime, possible surveillance, a mysterious observer, and then nothing.
It's definitely one of those stories that leaves you with more questions than answers.
Indeed. Well, that wraps up this deep dive. If you want to explore more inspired stories for working people, similar to this one, you can find more from the storyteller behind this account over at QuentinGallagher.com.
Bonjour, comment ça va?
Tell everybody. Okay?
Bye. Come back soon.